Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in New York City. And one of the things people have about New York is they're not sure is, do I have to tip or how do I tip when I'm here? Because there's a lot of international tourists that come here that don't know about the U.S. tipping culture. So what we're going to do is give you kind of a rough idea of tipping in the U.S., but also tipping in New York that'll help you out. Now, first things first is when you come to the U.S., you do have to tip. No, it is not a law, but if you don't tip, you're being a complete jerk. The waiters and waitresses and bartenders, they make their living off of the tips. And I know I'm going to get all these text messages and all these posts. Well, they should change the law. It's not my fault that I should subsidize their life. Look, they're paid little and they may actually make more money as tips, so that's how things work. So when you're going to a restaurant, a sit-down restaurant, you're tipping between 15 and 20% at a sit-down restaurant. You go to McDonald's, you don't tip, but 15 to 20% is a standard tip. If they do a good service, you can go higher. If they do a horrible service, you still want to tip around 15 because that was the way it is, but you don't have to, but just know that that is how it works here in the US. And for all the people that out there that says, I don't tip, this is why you get bad service. Now the next thing we're going to talk about are bartenders. Now here in New York, there's tons of bars and bars around the US, and you do need to tip your bartenders, especially if you want them to come back and take your order next time versus waiting in line forever. Now, standard tipping here in the US for kind of bartenders, 15 to 20% as well. If you're going to be like making a tab, that's when they just keep a list of your prices and you pay at the end, 15 to 20%. If you're paying cash for each drink, if it's kind of a beer or a simple drink, it's like $1 per drink. If you kind of a fancier drink or a higher alcohol, nicer drink, it's $2 or sometimes more, like $5. It's a really, really nice one, get some like $50, shot of whiskey. Not that I drink that, but you do have those. Other things you might look at in tipping when you are here, taxi drivers, 5 to 10%, you can tip on top of them. Usually what you do is you round up to the next dollar amount as well, because you don't use change in a taxi. If you're going to a hotel, what's nice to do is this one's not as popular around the US, it's more in the bigger cities you see it, is you might leave $2 to $4 a night for the cleaning staff. One, because they don't get paid very much, so that helps them out, but also it might make your room safer, because I'm not saying hotel staff steal things, but it does happen, and if you're a person that gives them money and stuff, it might make it a little bit easier on you. So those are just some of the kind of normal tipping culture things here in the US and in New York. If you want to learn more about traveling New York, we have 10 shocks of coming to New York, 5 things you'll love and hate about New York, and all kinds of other stuff, all on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and we really appreciate your likes, subscriptions. We hope you have a great time here in the US, wherever you are traveling. And don't forget to tip your waiter or waitress or bartender, okay? Just saying. Bye from New York.